Those who are determined to walk the path of truth and justice must expect to be tormented, but they must persevere. President O.R. Tambo, 1987. Members of the 2025 SRC and CRC, leaders of political structures, leaders of student societies, RSAs, tutors, mentors, peer educators, captains, fellow UMP students. I greet you all with revolutionary warmth and humility. I open this address on behalf of the entire SRC with deep gratitude for the collective effort that carried us here today. We begin by saluting the Students' Congress, SASCO, the movement that entrusted us with the responsibility, nominated us, and campaigned for us. Thank you for remaining the torchbearer of access and transformation and free education. To every student who cast their vote on the 25th of October 2024, regardless of who you voted for, thank you for keeping the spirit of democracy alive at UMP. Your participation was not just an administrative act. It was a declaration of faith in student governance. When we assumed office, we were fully aware of the high expectations and limited resources and rising frustrations of students. We inherited both the unfinished work of those who came before us and the urgent demands of those we serve now. From day one, we committed ourselves not to comfort, but to service. This work is not for yourselves. Kill the spirit of self. Do not live above your people, but live with them. And if you are to rise, bring someone with you. Mama Charlotte Manye Matseke, 1939. And indeed, we did rise. Not alone, but alongside the students whose registration were in crisis, those who went to bed hungry in their residences, and those who risked facing exclusion. Our mandate has never been symbolic. It has been practical, urgent, and relentless. This midterm report is more than just a checklist of actions taken. It is an opportunity to reflect, account, and recommit. It is a transparent record of what we succeeded to do, where we have fallen short, and where we must still go together. In the words of President Thabo Mbeki, those who complete the course do so not because they are the cleverest, but because they are the most determined. As your SRC, we recommit ourselves to remain determined even when systems resist and the burden grows heavy. We do not seek applause, we seek impact. We do not seek to boast, we seek to build. With that spirit, we present to you this 2025 midterm SRC report, a testimony of your resilience and a reflection of our service. Let us begin. Student leadership and governance, number one. Fellow UMP students, before we speak of progress and the road ahead, let us bow our heads and remember those whose journey ended too soon. We pay tribute to our departed fellow students, Tabseng Chantel Masilela, a third-year diploma in nature conservation student laid to rest in Msholozi. Mangoba Ntuli, a final year BSc environmental student laid to rest in Swaziland. Togozani Koza, a Bachelor of Commerce student laid to rest in Bushbuckridge. Toby C. Makakula, a second-year Bachelor of Development Studies student laid to rest in Hlazatshe. Boniswa Ubisi, a first-year diploma in ICT student who had previously completed the higher certificate in ICT, laid to rest in Bushbuckridge. These were not just names on our class register. They were our friends, our classmates, and members of our shared academic home. We extend our deepest condolences to the families, friends. Their absence is felt deeply in our lecture rooms, residences, and our hearts. Let us pause for a moment of silence to honor the memories of those that we have lost. May their souls rest in peace. Thank you. As the SRC President, I echo the words of President O.R. Tambo, who once said, "A nation that does not care about its youth has no future." These losses compel us to reflect on how we continue to care for one another, support each other, and lead with compassion. At the heart of a functional democracy, even within a university, is good governance. Our term did not start in vacuum. It was built on the successes and shortcomings of the SRC that came before us. In November 2024, the outgone SRC handed over a comprehensive, transparent report, not just as a tick box exercise, but as an act of intergenerational student accountability. We were handed the tools and the truth. And in that moment, we committed not to start from scratch, but to build on what was built, to fix what was broken, and to finish what was left undone. On the 1st of December 2024, when our term of office officially began, we accepted a baton not just of leadership, but also of sacrifice. On the 7th of February 2025, during our official inauguration at UMP, they call it an investiture, we stood before you and made a public commitment not to be title bearers, but burden bearers. We pledged to advance the interest of all UMP students at all levels, to ensure that every voice is not only heard but respected in the decision-making, and to cultivate a university climate where all students feel safe, valued, and empowered. These are not just slogans or rhetoric phrases. They were our marching orders. They are the lens through which we face every meeting, every resolution, and every intervention. We understood from day one that leadership is a skill, one that requires training and reflection. We participated in 2 intensive leadership development programs aimed at enhancing our government capabilities. Because we cannot govern well if we do not grow. Leadership is not only about organizing and meetings. Sometimes it is about the spaces where policies are shaped and appointments are made. We ensured student representation in 3 key leadership appointments: the Vice Chancellor, who steers the entire institution, Professor Tenjiwe Meyiwa was appointed and will begin office on the 1st of October 2025. The Registrar, who oversees academic administration. The Registrar Designate was appointed and did not take the offer. And the deputy registrar, Mam Nokukhanya Shongwe, was appointed as acting registrar until the appointment of a new registrar. The Dean of the Faculty of Education, a post that impacts the lives of many of our future educators, Professor Samgil Siwe Kumalo, was appointed and began her work at UMP on the 1st of July 2025. We ensured fair, transparent, and student-focused processes, because if the university leadership dares to fail, it is the students that will suffer first. Student governance does not exist in isolation. It strives through the vibrancy of student formations. This year, we moved decisively to recognize all legitimate formations that submitted their documentation. We respect diversity through thought and know that student power must be represented across beliefs, faculties, and interests. On the 16th of May 2025, the SRC undertook a strategic visit to Siyabuswa campus, not for photo ops, but for real engagement. We listened, documented, and acted. Following the visit, we submitted those concerns directly to the Vice-Chancellor for urgent interventions. And some of those concerns that were raised were that of fourth-year academic procession rule, which the Deputy Vice-Chancellor was given the responsibility, the one of teaching and learning, to resolve the matter. Maintenance of in-student housing operations was tasked to immediately deal with it. The clinic was being closed on Fridays. Now that was resolved by the Dean of Students. There were faulty stoves in that kitchen. Repairs are ongoing and replacement are scheduled. There were missing curtains in rooms. Replacement have been promised by the Director of Student Housing, and they are processing it. I saw a few templates that they were showing me. The MTN lab operational was non-operational. The Director of ICT has ensured that it will be operational, and I'm assuming it should be resolved, but we'll do a follow-up visit. Tutors had not been paid, dumping site was not used, the renovation of the library was halted, and all those processes are now underway. This is what leadership looks like: being present, listening with intent, and following through with results. The SRC attended the 9th South African Union of Students National Elective Conference at Nelson Mandela University in July during the holidays. 4 of the 6 elected national officials are current SRC members at their respective institutions, showing a very strong link between institutional and national student representation. The second leg of the conference will take place from the 22nd of August to the 25th at Sol Plaatje University in the Northern Cape. We will be attending. From the 26th to the 31st of July, the SRC engaged in an international student leadership program under the theme Bridging Connections, Exploring Student Life and Culture. Activities included a campus tour, facility benchmarking, discussion with student activity units on leadership and development, engagement with the SRC Presidency Executive Board on governance and representation, cultural exchange activities, including language and arts programs, collaborative talks on enhancing student support services, and exploring future intervarsity events. This experience has expanded our perspective on student development, and we have confidence that it will inform how we shape future programs at UMP. As leaders, we must hold ourselves to the highest ethical and moral standards. Leadership without accountability is betrayal of trust that students have placed in us. In recent weeks, allegations of serious misconduct involving two of our student leaders have circulated. A formal disciplinary hearing process has been instituted and is underway. No outcome has been reached yet. We affirm our commitment to a fair, impartial disciplinary process, protecting the rights of all involved and maintaining the integrity of student leadership. We will update the student body once the process concludes, while respecting the due process in the meantime. Number 2, academic affairs. The doors of learning and culture shall be open. The Freedom Charter, 1955. Fellow UMP students, when we took office, we understood that education is not just a privilege, it is a right that is often obstructed by red tape, delays, systematic exclusion, and administrative inefficiencies. We committed to not only defending this right, but to removing every obstacle that stands between a student and their academic success. In 2025, a total of 11,885 students successfully registered at UMP, but this achievement came with its own challenges. Throughout the registration period, the SRC was physically present in the queues, active in emails, and responsive to your frustrations. We listened, we intervened. Our efforts led to the extension of registration deadlines, ensuring that hundreds more students could finalize their enrollment at UMP. Improvements in student administrative communication, pushing for faster and more humane and clearer responses from the university offices. The academic year officially began on the 17th of February 2025 with good attendance both online and in-person platforms. However, overcrowded lecture venues, particularly at inMbombela campus, soon became a pressing concern. The SRC escalated this issue to management. As a result, the new buildings are currently being prepared and are set to open in the next quarter, and easing the congestion and improving learning conditions. Earlier this year, 643 students were issued academic exclusion letters. It was a painful moment, but we acted quickly. 453 students were assisted by the SRC during the appeal process, including representation and guidance. Our efforts ensured that no student was excluded in the 2025 academic year. Instead, warning letters were issued alongside with support mechanisms to help struggling students to recover academically. Supplementary exams results were delayed due to issues of external moderation, leaving many students unable to register for their required modules. We responded by escalating the matter to the registrar's office and requested a clear timeline for the release of those results, advocating for permanent improvement also to the moderation and feedback system. These efforts led to the enforcement of stricter deadlines and restructured feedback system. Yes. Many students experienced delays in the registration, academic record access, and NSFAS updates due to understaffed administrative offices. We formally submitted concerns and proposals, remember it was multiple times, to the university management. As a result, additional staff have been hired, and temporary staff were also brought to assist the Student Financial Aid Office and academic administration offices during peak periods like examination, graduation, and so forth. Final year LLB students were shocked to find that key elective modules had been removed from the curriculum, threatening their ability to progress in their stream of choice. The SRC intervened immediately through intense negotiations. At least 2 elective modules were reinstated for the 2025 academic year, safeguarding the students' path for future purposes. Errors in the classification of IPS and, or should I say, industrial psychology and psychology modules nearly cost some students their rightful graduation. The SRC acted swiftly, ensuring that the University Senate reviews these issues, and the errors were corrected, allowing all affected students to graduate on time. Limited access to computers continues to hinder many students who rely on university resources to complete their assignments. We took this matter up with management. As a result, a commitment was secured to expand access to computers in the library study areas. Also noted that the new campus buildings will include modern, fully equipped computer labs, and the SRC continues to monitor this process closely. In response to the long-standing concerns, particularly from final year students, we successfully advocated for a streamed process for academic transcript. Now students can access digitally signed and stamped transcript directly via their ITS student portal. This allows for faster application, submissions for bursaries, internships, and postgraduate studies at other institutions. Historically, supplementary exams were held in January, placing pressure on students during the December holidays and overlapping with other responsibilities. We successfully lobbied for this to change. Starting from 2026, supplementary exams will be scheduled for late November to December, allowing students to recover without sacrificing holiday time or disrupting the new academic year. Student finance. While poverty persists, there is no true freedom. President Nelson Mandela, 2006. The SRC's work on student finance in 2025 has been guided by one principle: that financial barriers must never be the reason why a student fails to graduate or complete their studies. At the beginning of this year, the SRC confronted exclusionary effects of the revised debt management policy, which was preventing many students from registering due to financial barriers. After persistent negotiations with management, we secured the following: Students without historical debt who were initially required to pay 1.4 upfront payment as a relaxed fee according to the FCC, which is the Financial Clearance Committee, were now allowed to register free of charge. Students with historical debt would pay then 50% of the amount determined by the Financial Clearance Committee, which was a student that was owing 10,000 would now pay 1.4, student that was owing 20,000, around 10,000 to 20,000 would pay 2.5, student from 20,000 to 40,000 would pay 3.5, those amounts. Graduates fully funded by NSFAS were being unfairly denied their certificates due to unpaid balances that NSFAS had not yet settled with the university. What we did is to engage directly with the University Finance Committee, secure the resolution ensuring that all graduates with 100% NSFAS funded receive their certificates, even if NSFAS still owes the institution. This included students who became NSFAS funded second year. As an outcome, certificates have been released. This is a major victory for our graduates. Standard 2025 allowances have already been paid. Only will work integrated learning accommodation allowances from last year remain unpaid. NSFAS will visit the university on the 15th of September 2025 to finalize this matter completely. For 2024, students with approved appeals have received their payments. Students who had applied for NSFAS before September 2024, and again during the university applications, had 2 NSFAS applications. NSFAS confirmed that they will be funded, and they should have actually been receiving their allowances from May. Students who applied after the university applications in January 2025 during the TVET cycle, NSFAS has refused to fund them, stating that they lack funding to do so. We have submitted this matter to DHET and the Minister for reconsideration. The SRC further sought other interventions to rescue affected students via the COID funding, as their NSFAS status still remains uncertain. Out of the 265 affected students, 79 responded and are now under the COID awaiting payment. On the 26th of March 2025, the Mutipe Foundation donated once again R1 million towards student debt relief. We are working with the university finance to ensure that the funds go directly to the most students that are vulnerable. The SRC insists that funds must not be trapped in the university coffers. They must immediately improve the lives of the students. We want to appreciate and thank the foundation for this meaningful contribution. NSFAS delays caused severe hardships. The SRC took action, secured the second book allowance even though it was late, advocated for students with delayed meal allowances, assisted in reinstating students wrongfully declined to accommodation confirmation issues. NSFAS strict N+ policy has defunded students who changed programs. The SRC has raised this formally with the university and nationally with NSFAS. We maintain that growth and academic redirection must not be punished. This policy must adapt to the students' realities. Many students had not received their Funza 2025 allowances on time, with some still waiting for 2024 balances. The SRC had to escalate this matter nationally, and payments have now been paid. ETDPCTA funded students requested conversion of vouchers to cash, but their bursary policy currently prohibits that. The matter is being monitored for potential changes in 2025 if proven to affect students negatively. NSFAS exception list. The SRC submitted a list of unresolved exceptions earlier this year to NSFAS, including transferring students, N+ rule complications, duplicate registrations, system migration errors, senior students reapplying TVET cycle students. Some cases have been resolved, while others remain pending. Engagement still continues with NSFAS. We'll be meeting them in 2022 with the minister to discuss all of these issues. When students at Luhambo residence faced evictions during examinations, the SRC intervened and secured an agreement that no student would be removed mid-assessment. We are now pushing NSFAS to speed up the accommodation payments for those who are fully funded. Students of NRF statuses were stuck at award accepted by the DA due to interliminary errors. After SRC interventions, payments were processed. Some WUL students were excluded from coordinator-submitted list. Others were affected by duplicate landlord payments. The SRC has resolved several cases through the list confirmations and continues to assist pending ones. We requested also that July allowances be paid early. This is to ease financial pressure as you go home, allowing you not to get into debt just to get money to go home. This was not a favor request. It was a matter of ensuring student safety and well-being. For the first time in the history of NSFAS, universities could not process second semester module top-ups, as NSFAS has, till today, has not opened the registration portal. NSFAS funded students were expected to pay from their own pockets for those modules for second semester. The SRC responded swiftly and allocated part of the Motsipe donation to assist students at risk of financial exclusion due to unpaid top-ups. It has become undeniably clear that NSFAS and the SETAs have been in a state of crisis. Our students continue to suffer delays, underfunding, and poor communication. As the SRC, we must now begin to be honest and have an honest conversation. Do we need to repeat what was done in 2015 for the Department of Higher Education to take us seriously? That is a question we will be posing to SRCs from other universities when we meet them next week. History has shown us that polite requests often fall to deaf ears, and that unity of students can shake even the most stubborn systems. And these systems nationally are seriously stubborn. Student housing. Fellow UMP student, as your SRC, we understand that the foundation of academic excellence rests on secure, dignified, and supportive living conditions. Student housing is not just about having a roof over your head. It is about safety, mental well-being, and convenience, and a fair system that respects your rights. inMbombela campus housing, start here. In January 2025, many students were unfairly denied in some off-campus residences during the supplementary examination period, despite having stayed in these AP-accredited residences the entire year. Landlords demanded excessive top-ups for continued short stays. From the 13th to the 22nd of July 2025, the SRC intervened without waiting for formal complaints. We swiftly secured temporary housing for affected students, ensuring that no one must be forced to write their examination under distress or homeless conditions. These interventions reaffirmed our commitment to student dignity during moments of crisis. When landlords attempted to exploit students by demanding top-up fees and deposits of 1,000 payment rents, we escalated the matter. On the 7th of February 2025, the Secretary General led a delegation to NSFAS and MASA at a meeting that was happening at TUT inMbombela. Following that meeting, NSFAS issued a public statement condemning this expropriated behavior. Landlords were formally warned of legal repercussions for these unjust practices. This was not just a response, it was historical precedence to protect students against exploitation. On the 31st of January 2024, the SRC met with the Luhambo Student Accommodation Management alongside with the Deputy Chairperson of the CRC, Tesha Nkosi. Key issues included transport matters, service delivery delays, which goes to the cleaning services, including these unjust top-ups. Following our interventions, complaints are now being monitored regularly, and Luhambo under continued SRC scrutiny to uphold student welfare. Some of these issues have been resolved, many of which partially, but we continue monitoring regularly. Thanks to the vigilance of our campus representative council, we conducted inspections in response to missing microwaves, slow maintenance, poor conditions in common areas. These issues were taken directly to operations and remain a priority in our ongoing engagement. If you can see around campus, go busy man, bayasebenza abantu. On the 24th of March 2025, a strategic meeting with Dr. Twice, the Director of Student Housing, and the entire Student Housing Division was convened. Our message was clear. We needed solutions, not sympathy. Progress on our concerns is being tracked weekly, ensuring that there is an agency in execution. You can see it, you could see there's improvement on campus. kancane kancane. We've stepped in when 13 master's students and 3 other who were vice-chancellor scholarship recipients were left without housing due to placement delays. Our advocacy ensured priority access to on-campus residences. However, interim placement was managed at Luhambo under the SRC supervision, and permanent solution has been found as second semester space opened up when others were going to will. We took off-campus safety very seriously. Notable incidences include 3 robberies reported at APA residences. SEP's cases were supported and escalated to ZQL and NSFAS housing. A gender-based violence incident was swiftly addressed, prioritizing the victim's safety and improving security at their residence. The Silai residence crisis, where students endured no Wi-Fi, water shortage, hazardous ceilings, triggered agent SRC action. These students are now being prioritized and have been relocated. As the SRC President, I say this with conviction. No student should ever study under a collapsing ceiling or in fear. Under the leadership of the CRC Deputy Chairperson, Tesha Nkosi, we launched a dedicated WhatsApp group connecting the SRC with APA house reps. This innovation enabled us to have real-time complaint tracking, allowed us for immediate intervention. From the 13th of May to the 15th, our off-campus delegation, as led by the Deputy Chairperson of the CRC, Tesha Nkosi, and the Senior RSA, Randy Khoza, inspected 6 high-risk residences. This was not just for paperwork. We had an opportunity to engage with the students, heard their stories, and acted, and ensured that those residences improve their security. By June, on-campus issues like laundry machines malfunctions, stove removals, drainage blockage were documented and escalated to management. Additionally, the Deputy Chairperson took our message to Likwala Kwala FM, raising awareness about youth unemployment and systematic housing inequalities. Despite our progress, challenges still remain. 2024 NSFAS accommodation payments are still incomplete, especially WIL students, as I had said. However, reconciliation is ongoing, and that meeting with NSFAS will finalize that. Evictions continue to threaten students, but we have created a clear protocol. Landlords must log unresolved cases with ZQL to trigger NSFAS interventions before they can chase students out of their residences. Students must strictly follow accommodation change notification procedures to prevent misallocated funds. Late registration related housing claims are under review by NSFAS, Yusuf Dihet. We will provide updates to the student body as soon as outcomes are finalized. While our inMbombela efforts were urgent and loud, Siyabuswa victories were quiet but just as powerful. Some of the achievements at Siyabuswa campus include curfew relaxed and emergency health services improved. thanks to strong CRC engagement. Infrastructure concerns were reported to the head of maintenance in Siyabusa, Mr. Mashilo, and resolved. Fire clearance for backup generators is pending and it is in progress. Wi-Fi and connectivity issues have now been addressed as we are informed by ICT. But as I said, we'll visit Siyabusa again to check these things before we leave office, 30 November. Landlord-student relations remained largely positive, but the SRC is vigilant in monitoring lease terms and ensuring fairness. So fellow UMP students, this is the state of your housing. It is not perfect, but it is also not neglected. Number 5, sports and recreation. The dominion of sports and recreation has not merely been a portfolio on paper for this SRC. It has been a battlefield for a platform of wellness and a home of passion. This year, we are stepping up not as spectators, but as players in the arena of change. We know that your physical well-being is just as important as your academic success. That is why the SRC prioritized improving gym access in both campuses. The inMbombela gym is fully functional and operational. Earlier in the year, we submitted a request to the Dean of Students to extend the gym hours to suit student schedules better. This was implemented immediately. Siyabusa campus gym, following continuous pressure from the SRC and engagement, the gym was revamped and gym assistants were appointed and facility reopened. UMP currently offers 18 sporting codes, with 10 of which are affiliated with University Sports South Africa. This year, we have fast-tracked the appointment of coaches for tennis, volleyball, and squash, secured a commitment from management to revamp the basketball facility here in Building 7, inMbombela campus. We will monitor the implementation until every promised upgrade becomes a reality. Athletes have raised concerns about delayed equipment access, lack of daily coaching. We engaged the sports office and manager urgently and called for a review of the access methods that they are using, secured commitment for them to hire a consistent coach. Men's and women's football teams are playing with passion, but face challenges, including limited equipment, restricted gym access, especially for male players, lack of transport for early matches or trainings, sometimes no meals, no proper UMP-hosted tournaments. Our response was to submit a full equipment and funding request, demanded a structured transport arrangement for matches, and called that they should have meal provisions for each and every match, whether it's here or externally. Lobbied for more tournaments beyond the annual sports days. Our cricket team's dedication is unmatched, but they had no dedicated training grounds. They had to share practice spaces and lacked basic kits and first aid essentials. We engaged management to secure a dedicated ground and pushed for faster kit provision. Yeah. UMP Rugby team has participated in many games this year. However, issues persist and are of incorrect field markings, missing shorts, socks, and inconsistent transport. SRC interventions we've raised the kit and transport concerns with the Office of Sports and Recreation, advocated for fully training kits, and post, as we said, transport for matches. As the team works towards the Varsity Shield qualification, we want them fully kitted and proudly representing the University of Mpumalanga. Tennis players face inadequate facilities, no racks, nets, and sometimes benches, shades. We requested for new equipment and a full court upgrade, and we are waiting for that decision. Key achievements and resolutions in sports: the renovation of the cricket court, which is now in use. Wi-Fi has been restored at the grandstands. Equipment provided for the athletes and rugby using the new system that we had requested. Siyabuswa campus court renovation initiated, still under review. Delayed coach payments at Siyabuswa resolved, and the coaches have been retained. Cheerleaders officially recognized. Uniforms are still to be resolved. The issue of uniforms is still to be resolved. University committed to providing full tracksuits for all USA teams, including the ones that went in January, which is the athletes, and the ones that went now during these holidays. The SRC also proposed the introduction of sporting codes that would accommodate students with disability on both campuses to ensure inclusivity in UMP sports. This proposal was approved and is still to be implemented. Number 6, social transformation and student development. There is no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children. President Nelson Mandela, 1995. Fellow UMP students, last but not least, it is with great honor and purpose that I present to you the report from the Social and Transformation Portfolio, a heartbeat of our student development. This is more than just a portfolio. It is the human soul of the SRC tasked with nurturing student identity, safety, expression, and development. Throughout the past few months, we have worked tirelessly to create a campus culture that reflects our values of equality and transformation. What follows reflects work done together with you, by the way, and because of you. We believe that student societies are the fertile ground for building tomorrow's leaders. They are the incubators of critical thought, cultural celebration, creativity, and campus vibrancy. On the 11th of March 2025, the SRC hosted a society's exhibition, reigniting interest and the spirit in student organization. Hundreds of students engaged with various stalls, from environmental to faith-based, cultural to academic. The energy was just electric. We supported many societies in their programs, such as recruitment drives, some debate societies, Siyabuswa, GPV and Gender Forum, Enactors Open Desk, Girls Talk in Siyabuso, Adaptability, Picnic. We echo the words of the late Steve Biko. The most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Thus, we currently in talks with management to ensure weekly dedicated venues for societies to meet and grow and flourish. We have heard your concerns and we are acting. Health services are not just a bonus, they are a right. We have secured on-call replacement for the clinic nurses to ensure that no student is left without access to health care during staff absence. Our sanitary pad distribution campaign continues despite the limited funding that we have. Menstrual dignity is not an option. It is fundamental. We call on sponsors, alumni, and staff and students to support this campaign as it's ongoing, and we hope next year's SRC will continue where last year's SRC had started. It is hard to study on an empty stomach. Food security is one of the most urgent social injustices facing our student community. This is why the SRC has launched the Food Parcel Donation Campaign for unfunded students. This initiative is a call to the hearts and hands of the entire UMP community. We are mobilizing donors, staff, alumni, and students because this is not charity, it is solidarity. We must never become numb to the suffering of other students, and our SRC remains rooted in the struggle of the student. When students called for justice, we stood beside them. We joined the hashtag Justice for Kwekwe protest, standing firmly for safety and accountability. We are currently working with the university to strengthen GPV policies, ensuring that survivor support systems are improved, reporting mechanisms are safer, and consequences are enforced. We are also responding to the alarming rise of alcohol abuse in both campuses. The SRC is pushing for awareness campaigns, peer support programs, and ensured safety interventions. We believe every student deserves a safe and empowering campus. Sometimes it is the small acts that speak the loudest. During exam week, we distributed exam packs filled with snacks and motivation because we know you are more than just your student number. Conclusion. 7. Allow me to conclude with the words of the late Chris Hani, who said, and I quote, what I fear is that the liberators emerge as elites who drive around in Mercedes-Benz and use the resources of this country to live in palaces and gather their own riches. We have taken these words as a caution, not just a quote. We have refused to be distant rulers, but have insisted in being present leaders, not above the student, but amongst them. From the first day in office, on the 1st of December 2024, we worked to be worthy of your trust and confidence that you placed in us on the 25th of October 2024. We are not perfect, but we remain principled. We could not do everything, but what we did it with conviction and in service of you. This moment of reflection is not mine alone. Behind every win, every meeting, every communique, They stood a team, a collective, a family of comrades who sacrificed their time, endured pressure, and showed up when it was not convenient. Allow me to honor them by name with pride. The 2025 Student Representative Council, Zandile Mdebele, our Deputy President, Olive Vilagazi, our sharp Secretary General, Pilani Mapena, our detailed and strategic treasurer, Cindy Ramaditse, our academic officer, Malibongwe Kumalo, our sports and recreational officer, Nogwanda Mbata, our social and transformation officer. The 2025 CRC members, Tesha Nkosi, the inMbombela Deputy Chairperson, Chione Khare, the Siyabuswa CRC Chairperson, Rorisang Malapile, the Siyabuswa Deputy Chairperson, Lucky Rapo, the Siyabuswa Secretary, Puti Homu, the Siyabuswa Academic Officer, Climate Banyon, the Siyabuswa Sports and Recreational Officer, and last but not least, Sean Matupo, the Siyabuswa Resource Mobilizer. To all of them, thank you for your leadership, your loyalty, and your love for the student body. You are the heartbeat of a leadership collective that will be remembered in the corridors long after your names have been erased from those office doors. Now, as we approach the next SRC elections on the 5th of September 2025, I call on every student to make an educated vote. And please note that our term is not ending 85, until 30 November 2025. And yes, we remain available for any inquiry or concern you may have until our very last day in office. You can continue to reach out to any of the SRC members. In fact, you can even call me directly, even midnight. So that it's very important that you reach out to the president whenever you're having issues. In the words of President Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. Well, comrades, we're doing it. Let us finish strong. Let us finish together. And may history record that this SRC served with courage, led with humility, and left the office better than they found it. Amandla. Thank you.